shameless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah, I just wanna be great.
What is going on, and welcome to the One Pride Podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions, and we got a good one for you folks today. We are definitely going to have fun here, and I got my guy, my buddy here, my pal. We got Mr. Roar Lions UK himself. We got Ant-Man. What's going on, Ant-Man?
Hey, Mike. Hope you're doing well over there, buddy. You know I love these streams. Always love talking Lions with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And sorry, this is like really quick. I just got back from, I got to do physical therapy, folks. Got to do physical therapy. So, like, this was a last-minute thing here to get on as fast as I could. I didn't know how quick it would get on there for sure, but it did happen. We got some people in the building. We got Weston Lion, Tony. We got Paul Ginder. We got Jordan Moore. We got Devin, Detroit Dabber. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. And yeah, we're going to definitely get into it. I just got to get my things really quick right here fixed and be good to go. All right, let's get this set up. So first off, we're definitely going to be talking about the latest news right now for our Detroit Lions. And so my back's doing pretty good right now. It's tender, a little bit of tender, a lot of working on it, but I'm going to talk a little bit latest news. A former Detroit Lion passed away today. Young guy, Jesse Lemonor at 25 years old, so rest in peace to him. It sucks that he passed away, and too young, man, just absolutely too young there, Ant-Man.
I know, he's 8 years younger than me. I mean, it only seems a minute since he was on this team, and yeah, absolutely horrible news. Thoughts and prayers to all his friends and family.
100%. Also, looks like the Michigan Panthers will be playing at Ford Field. Kind of cool there. That's the USFL team. So I guess if you're locally, you can go to Ford Field still when the season starts, I think in April. So that's kind of cool. Other than that, Matt Patricia, future uncertain. I think that's a good thing there, Ant-Man.
Oh, no, I like to see him ruin other franchises. He ruined us for long enough. You know, I want to see him spread his malice elsewhere. But I think they got Bill O'Brien in now, haven't they? So that makes a lot of sense for the Patriots. So I think that you'll see a lot better offense than them. You got him and Judge doing it last year. The two worst people to run an offense possible. It's just like, I don't get it. I really don't. So, hope for Pats fans' sake, it gets a little better.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's really it there. Nothing new. Have you heard anything about Aaron Glenn yet? I haven't heard a single thing about him, about the Arizona Cardinals job. I haven't heard anything.
No, I mean, I don't think he's going to get it. I mean, it's only... Who did it to the Panthers? They've hired Frank Reich, haven't they? But outside of that, there's been nothing to do with him. But I think teams are taking their time at the moment. I think a lot of people are waiting on what Sean Payton does and bits like that. So I'm not sure. I don't think Glenn's going anywhere though. For me, he's still got a lot to prove as a coordinator yet, and I think year 3 for him will be the chance he gets to prove it because he's got a lot of second, third year guys he's going to have on the roster now, so you can't really give the rookie excuse anymore. And hopefully, we invest some good capital in that defense this offseason, be it in free agency. They will be in the draft for sure. So I think he needs one more year to put together a top-notch defense first before he really seriously gets a look. Because Ben Johnson's done that with his offense, whereas Aaron Glenn has not as of yet. I hope he stays because the players seem to like him, and you want the continuity there. So I'm kind of hoping they don't go down that route.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's going to stay. He's going to be back for the Detroit Lions as the DC. But now let's get into the fun part of the show. Everyone wants to talk free agency, the draft. That's what it's all about. So we're just going to have some fun talking about free agency. Now, you've done a lot of research there, Ant-Man. What is the biggest need you want to see the Detroit Lions address in free agency right now, side of the football? What do you want to see? What position? What are some players we can look forward to potentially acquiring?
It's on the defense for sure. I kind of said it was the defensive line the other day because I kind of want a more experienced tackle in there to come in and help. So Payne's up there. I do really like Deron Payne, but you'll have to pay him a lot of money. But got a lot of rookies on that defensive line, and probably vets we're going to get some bad contracts off the books. So I wouldn't mind pushing the boat out really to try and get him. He's young, hungry. You want that in there, and he's kind of dominating when it gets to the quarterback as well, which is something we lack a little bit on the interior. So I don't really want to go for him. I think then outside of that, it will probably be corner. I think we need to really address that room. But again, we sort of need a top level vet in there, I reckon, because I think there's going to be multiple quarterbacks coming in the draft. You've still got Jerry in there who's relatively young. You've got Jeff who's still working his way back. So I think you need a guy to lead the room in there as well. Who that might be, I do not know. Obviously, I think it might happen after the draft, when teams start cutting rosters down. Maybe we pick someone up there like we did Harris a few years back. But I would like to see us target in there and see if we can get someone. Like I said, I don't think talent's a problem on defense. A lot of young talent, a lot of bright sparks on there. We just kind of need the vets to go with them. Like Kaminsky's done on the edge front. We just need someone in other spots to step up as well.
Yeah, what do you think about the safety position? It's an interesting position, right? We got Kirby Joseph, who played really well his rookie year. Loved the pick. He's definitely going to be a starter for the Detroit Lions. We've seen Tracy Walker. This is an update. I posted on my Twitter. He's working out. It's nice seeing Tracy get there, but we don't know if he's going to be ready. Should the Lions look to potentially get a safety in the draft? Is that could be an option or free agency? I personally don't really want to go that route unless it's a later round, a universal player. Potentially someone that could fill multiple positions. Just re-sign Deshaun Elliott. That's kind of the route I personally would like to go. Is there a different a reaction that you have for that safety position?
I want to draft another one, I think, because I want to keep the depth there going forward. So for sure, I'd be looking again. I really want like a young guy we can bring as a downhill runner, effective in the run game. I'm in love with JL Skinner at this moment in time. Someone like him. I know Deshaun does it for us at the minute, but I think he's going to get paid well. And I think if he has another good season, he's probably going to get paid even more if we don't give him a multi-year deal. So I'd kind of like to try and protect us on that front and have a young guy who can come in and take that burden off if it's not the way we want to go. I think Kirby's developing nicely as sort of a more down the field free safety that you can use there, sort of the ball hawking skills you want. But I still think we need a little bit of help in the run game at the position. So I would like to bring sort of a run specialist in at safety and draft one and develop him. So
that's interesting. So he would like to go ahead and develop a safety position. I don't mind doing that, definitely, when it comes to developing a player and getting a guy in the later rounds. I think right now, though, it's just a little bit of a problem if we're to go early. Not first round, not second round. What do you think potentially, Roar Lions UK, of going for, like, what round are you looking at to acquire a safety?
It depends, with Brad Holmes, he's very selective over who he wants. It doesn't matter if he waits day one on the draft or waits all the way till day 3. He's got the guys he likes there, but I would certainly be having a look at day 2. I wouldn't be upset, because don't forget, when you've got 5 picks in the top 80, which we do, or 81, I think you can afford to use one of those picks somewhere which you traditionally might not. I mean, been coming around to the idea of the running back at 18. If you want to go quarterback there, maybe I don't mind, because I still know that I'm going to get at least 3 or 4 really good starters on defense with the picks we have. So I feel like we can afford to be a little bit more choosy this year with it. So if there's a guy there on day 2, he's a safety and I really like him, then I'll go for him. I would have no problem with that, because like I say, I've got a lot of picks to compensate around and sort of work with it. So I'd happily do it day 2. There's no day 1 guys, but there's a nice group of guys on day 2 who I'd be happy with.
What do you think about offensive line, right? We don't know what's going on with right guard. You would like to bring back Halapoulivaati Vaitai, keep him here under contract, ready to go. But if they don't, should we look for in free agency? I don't think so. I think that would be it's like shooting yourself in the foot, right? You get rid of a guy who you already have to get one in free agency. It doesn't make sense. If you're going to get rid of Big V, you'd probably go with the draft. What would be your route? Number 1, I think you want Big V just to come back, right? That's your number 1 option.
I like Big V, yes. So if he can prove his health, I would like him here, because it's, you want your offensive line. It's at an elite level now. You want your right guard in there. Him and Penny work very well together, and I think we've forgotten that because we've not seen it for so long. But, this elite offensive lines don't come across every day, especially here. I want to keep it together if I can and keep going forward with it. But I would certainly be drafting a guy, even if Halapoulivaati came back, because we are going to be in a really bad situation with the offensive line soon, in that Jonah Jackson's about to get paid. He's probably going to get paid north of $10 million the way he's playing. Penny's going to get paid very soon. I mean, Christ knows what he's going to get paid. Taylor and Frank are already paid large amounts of money. We need some youth on that line so that we've got contracts. So you can't pay 5 linemen elite money, which is the situation we're going to be heading to in the near future. So even if Hal comes back, I would still draft someone. If Hal doesn't come back, then I'm absolutely drafting a right guard to protect myself against future. I'm drafting a proper one. I'm drafting someone who's played right guard before. I'm not one of these switch position, plug and play guys. Osiris Torrance is the only guard at the top of the draft, out of the main ones, who's always played right guard. I ain't switching them. I ain't messing around with them. It's too vital a position for us to be playing around with. So I want a guy who's played there specifically. But I am drafting one.
How high are you willing to draft at guard? Say, again, Big V, we release him. How high are you willing to draft? Because the guard that you said, the potential to be a first-round pick.
Round 1.
Round 1.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think there's a big gap until you start reaching the next crop of right guards after that who'd be any good for you. So I don't know. I'd want to find a scheme fit here. I'd want to find the right guy. And even if it takes a while to develop him and I've got to carry on plugging and playing, Evan's likely to still be here next year. You'll still have Logan on a contract, so you can still plug and play a bit while you develop a guy. But I don't know. If Torrance is knocking round in round 2 and no one's taken him, then I'd even trade up a little bit to get him, just because he fits the system so well as well. At Florida, the way they play, they run the ball a lot, specifically similar to what we do. He would fit our scheme very well. Outside of that, I'd just be looking at the next guys up and draft them wherever I need to. But I've got to take one. Like I say, the money dictates that we've got to start protecting ourselves in the future, start developing the next guys so that we don't get bogged down paying out money to all these guys, because it'll be too much.
Here with Roar of the Lions UK, Anthony Ant-Man. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Doing a lot of draft prospects, talking to him behind the scenes, just like me, doing a lot of work. And so if you like knowledge about prospects, this is a channel you can go to and get some of that beautiful information, just like Raw Detroit, who is in this bad boy as well. Jonah Jackson talked about how he would like to get an extension and stay here in Detroit. So you would have Taylor Decker in a big contract, Frank Ragnow in a big contract, Jonah Jackson on a big contract, and you suspect, just like everybody here, Penei Sewell is going to be the long-term solution, probably at the left tackle at some point. He'd be replacing Decker at some point. But that's a lot of money upon that offensive line, and it's really important, like you said, to draft these players in a position to where you're not worrying about it. And we've seen what happens with the offensive line. You have a dominant offensive line, you win football games. You don't have a good offensive line, you're not in a position to succeed. So offensive line is always something good to get in the draft, and I'll never be upset with going offensive line. And plus, we don't know what's going on with Logan Stenberg. He's probably not coming back. If you agree with me, right? He's a player we got, I think it was 3 years ago we got, and he's just not, he's on the depth chart at the very bottom.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I've always been in his corner, and I loved the pick, and I've loved him as a player, and I wish they'd given him more of a shot last year. I know he had a few rough games and that, but he did show spurts where he was pretty good, and I don't think he was any worse than any of the other guys who filled in there during the year. But I think when you're reaching year 4, you kind of do have to admit defeat with it. And that's hard for me to say because I've really rooted for him and batted for him and, taken a lot of flack for it. But, I think it might be time to reload there. And like I say, you've got to keep going after. I mean, I'd absolutely 100% pay Jonah. I'm not saying at this point I don't pay Jonah. I want him here in the long term because I think it'll work. You pay Jonah this year. You pay Penny the year after.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor probably leaves after that. And you move Penny to left tackle, and then you've got to go out and get another tackle. So I think you can do it right. But like you say, you have to provide insurance. Otherwise, if you are in a position where you've got to pay everybody, then like I say, it's going to limit our ability elsewhere. I mean, that class is going to be really expensive. You've got to pay Amon Ra, you've got to pay Aleem at the same time, and then you're going to have guys from the year after. The only trouble when you draft so well is you've got to pay somewhere down the line. So I think we do have to look at it now. And I think it might be one of my dark horse things that Holmes might do in this draft. I think he might draft a lot more trenches than we think he might for that specific reason, especially on the offensive line. And I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Not at all. Let me know in the comment section right now, what round would you draft an offensive lineman? It would be guard, because I doubt they're going to go tackle anytime soon. But let me know your thoughts on this one, because I'm curious to see what you think upon this offensive line. You definitely want that to always be solidified. But we do need defense. You're not going to take Gardner at 6. Now, we all know that. It's not happening at 6. But we do have a second first-round pick, and maybe they trade up into the draft, or they wait second or third round, potentially. But I want to hear what you guys think. Me, personally, I do believe what Ant-Man says. I'm willing to do it but I'm thinking end of 2, round 3, if everything works out right. If it doesn't, I get it. I'm not going to be upset about it, but that's just a personal preference. We got round 2 through 3, third rounder from Grandizer. We got third round from Paul as well. So a lot of people are, they agree. The offensive line's important. I think everybody understood this now, with how our offense played well for the Detroit Lions. It had a lot to do with that offensive line. We're sitting at pick 6 there, Ant-Man. Okay? You are on the clock. It is not anybody else. It is Ant-Man on the clock. Pick 6. The first pick, it went quarterback. We'll just say Bryce Young. Second pick, we'll just say Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, another quarterback, and Miles Murphy is gone. You're sitting at pick 6. What do you do?
Trade it. I honestly would trade it. At the point where I just think it's a bit of a no man's land for us at that point. I mean, Brizzy I like, but he seems to be falling out of favour with a lot of people. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I had a lot of skepticism about him because of the injury, but he's been healthy this year and he's played well. So, I mean, if you're forcing me to stay there and pick, it would probably be him, but it would be defensive tackle only. I'm not looking outside of that. I don't really see anyone else there. A lot of people go on about Tyree Wilson, but I've watched the tape. For me, he's not an edge rusher. I think he's more of a 3-4 defensive tackle, and I don't think we need that on our team. We've got guys on the interior who could do that already, and I'm just not willing to give up the pick there for him. I think it's a little too high. I think Breezy's the only one. If you get everything you want out of him, he'd be worth that 6th overall pick, and that's kind of what I'm looking at in that situation. But overall, I just want to trade my way out of there and get some more picks for later. Go and get my cut.
So my man says trade. Would you guys trade out of that spot? I agree. I think if we're sitting at pick 6, we have an opportunity to trade out. I'm willing to trade out. I concur with that assessment. I agree 100% with Ant-Man here to trade out of the pick. Now, I'm thinking trading out to within the top 10. No farther than 12. That is my personal preference. I don't want to go too far away. We trade out 6, say we go to 9 or 10. What is the compensation you're looking at? I'm thinking I want to get a second-round pick. I like to acquire that team's second-round pick, and it's going to be an early one because you're trading out with a team that's top 10, so it'd be a top 10 second-round pick unless for some reason they didn't have it. That's what I'm thinking. What was the compensation for you? Is that too soft? Do you want more? Do you want less?
You know what? I'd be happy with a day 2 pick because I'm not trading the position away because I'm looking to fleece someone and get loads of picks later in the draft. I'm trading the pick because there's no one I specifically like there at that point. So, if I can go back a few spots, like to 9, and then I start drafting my corners, if I draft Devon there, which I absolutely 100% would, I would consider it a win just to pick up even a 3rd round pick. I think, right, well, I've traded back a few spots. I've got an extra 3rd. I've still got the guy I wanted at a bit better value. Didn't really want him at 6. I consider that a win-win for me. So I'm not really asking that much in that situation. If there's a quarterback sat there and we're trading a quarterback pick away to someone, then I might start raising my price limit up. But it all depends what's happening with the quarterbacks at that point, because if Richardson makes a leap like Levis is doing, you've got 4 quarterbacks in the top 5. All of a sudden, Carter and Anderson fall into us. And then I'm like, there's no way.
No trade
in that pick. So... But I'm just assuming in the scenario that all the guys I don't want are there and the quarterbacks are gone or no one figures they're worth it. I'd take a 3rd round pick just to go back a few spots. I'm not going to be fussy.
He's not fussy. See, he wants to move back, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. You're going to get the same type of player at 6, more than likely the way that we're sitting, as at 10. Because the biggest prospects that you want is going to be Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. Those are blue chip guys. We don't need a quarterback. And the rest of the guys are very close, similar regarding the type of player and talent-wise that you're getting for that selected spot. So I agree with trading back. Say we trade back to 9. That's the spot that we're at. Ant-Man's on the clock. We're at 9. We got an extra second-round pick. I'll do pick 18. You do pick 9. Ant-Man is on the clock. Dun 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 dun. What do you got going on, man?
I'd 100% take my corner here. I'll take Devon Witherspoon right then and there, and I'll be incredibly happy. I'll get my extra 3rd round pick or my extra 2nd round pick. I've got my corner I want, and that's where I go with it. Now, it's not to say all the other corners are bad. I think this is a tremendous corner class. Porter, Gonzalez, Ringo, all these guys, I think they each offer their own unique talent to the game, but Witherspoon for me suits us the best for what we do and what we need. And there will be a run on corners at some stage, and I will get ahead of the game and take my guy there, and then we'll see what happens with 18.
So interesting there. He goes corner really quick. So that gives me a spot. I'm sitting at pick 18. And I was thinking you're going to go defensive line. You got me here. So I was thinking about taking the cornerback at pick 18. So I'm sitting here, pick 18. A lot of good players still on the board here. Oof. Look, I don't. This is Mike draft. This is not Brad Holmes draft. Mike draft. I'm sitting at 18. You went corner. I'm gonna go Trenton Simpson. I'm gonna go linebacker. I am gonna finish the middle of this defense right there. Trenton Simpson there. You got your cornerback. You got your linebacker. I'm gonna go Trenton Simpson. I like him. I love him. I was going to go cornerback at 18, but you decided to go, so I switched it up to Trenton Simpson. You're now on the clock for your first second-round pick. I don't even know what pick it is. Let's see.
It's not until the 40s, I don't think.
55 or 48. 48. Sorry, 43 or 48, something like that. We're in the 40s.
I don't know at this point. I think if Torrance has fallen, I absolutely take him, but he ain't getting that far.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is where I'd seriously look at Skinner. I honestly really will. I think he's a top 50 player, and I think people will fall in love with him very quickly. He's at the Senior Bowl next week. If for me, I just carry on building the spine of that defense, and I will take him there, and then I'll kind of get it over and done with. Then you've got a lot of flexibility afterwards. You've kind of got the spine of your team right there. I think you've got all the big positions they need. Then you can start looking towards your offense a little bit. It's difficult this year. The offensive line, the guys aren't sat there at guard for me at the top. This draft is very deficient of offensive linemen at the top, which is rare. So I'd be waiting a little longer for them, and then I'd be waiting a little longer on receiver as well. So I would go the safety at that point. I would take Skinner, and I would get it done. There's
a prospect that one of my buddies here was talking about, and I looked at him after he says, Mike, you need to look at this guy. Garvin Dexter, defensive tackle from Florida. I think he's a second-round prospect, a late second-round prospect, defensive tackle. I think I'd go that route late in the second round. So we fixed this defense is much improved. Much improved. Defensive tackle, linebacker, corner, safety there. I don't know if that's going to happen there, but Garvin Dexter, that's what I would take if it fell this way. So we solidified this defense in the first two rounds. Now let's switch it up a little bit. I'll take pick 6 or pick 9. You take 18 with pick 6. To me, if Myles Murphy's there, I'm taking Myles Murphy. That would be the guy I'm going to take at pick 6 out of Clemson there. Really good player. I think he's the next best player besides the two that we always talk about. That's what I'm going to go with if he's sitting there. If not, I'm looking to trade back a little bit. And then maybe Brian Brzee. But I'll take Myles Murphy. You're sitting at 18, passed on cornerback. What are you going to do there?
Upset a lot of people. I'd take Bijan. I would. People will go running back at 18. It's crazy. But, and I say this a lot, the running game means an awful lot to the Detroit Lions. It means a lot to a lot of teams, but specifically to the way we play, our offense cannot function without its run game. You absolutely 100% need it. We have an elite offensive line. Go and put the elite guy in the draft behind them. You have to treat your run game as a big priority for the Detroit Lions. It is a critical part of the way we play. So I'm fully on board with treating it as a critical draft necessity. I mean, I've got Swift for one more year. You might bring Jamaal back for one more, but you don't know whether he's going to keep it up. I will pair my elite offensive line with the elite running back in the class, and I will go absolutely nuts on this league. And again, I think with having the 5 picks in the top 80, you can take this and you can still come away with 4 good defensive prospects. I think you can afford a luxury pick in here. I think he's built exactly what we want. We need a bell cow running back. He is special in the open field, missed tackles. He's the first guy to have 100 missed tackles in a season forced since they started doing the records with it. He's crazy good. And I think we can afford to. So I'm just going to put my elite running back behind my elite offensive line and go nuts.
Wouldn't shock me.
And I don't feel bad about it.
It wouldn't shock me, honestly, if Brad Holmes did something like that. It would not shock me at all. So we got Bijan Robinson. We got Myles Murphy. Second-round pick. I'm gonna take a corner. Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. A 6-foot corner. He's starting to rise a little bit. We need to get a corner. I think he can play man. I think he can play what we're doing here. We picked up a free agent and we'll just say Byron Murphy is a cornerback. We got a young cornerback ton in here. Think you'd help this defense out because we need help at the corner position. And this could be a slow riser. He fell the second round. So I'm going ahead and taking Emmanuel Forbes. We have another second round pick. You're on the clock after we got a super chat really quick. Just got a super chat. And let me get this thing up here, man. Let me get it up here because I just seen this bad boy pop up. A super chat. Where'd it go? Let me get my basic thing up here. It's got to get it. Where are you at? There it is. Now I should be able to send it. Right now. There we go. Super chat. Hashtag FGB, $20. Been a Lions fan for over 50 years now. I love them. We have Pascal and all I want from Kamish back. Don't these two offer the same style play? Miles and Tyree, and they're there. They spend a draft pick. Why spend a draft pick? Because he's the best player available. If you have Miles Murphy there, he's the best player available. Not name Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. I go BPA. So that's my thought process. That's the way I went there. What do you think about taking a Miles Murphy there, even though we have a similar play style?
I'm not on board with an edge, which is why I don't think we need another one. I think the room is very talented at the minute. You've got Kamish. Hopefully he's back. You've got Hutch. You'll want to keep on developing Houston because he's shown that he has the potential to be a 3-down player. And even, you've got Julian in there as well if you want to bring him back, if he finds his way on a roster again. I think you've got a lot of young talent there, and then you've got Romeo and you've got Charles. Now, are they both going to be here next year? I don't know, but the minute I can only assume that they're going to be. You have to work under the assumption now. So you've got your experienced guys, you've got your young guys. I just don't want to go edge because I feel like it's not a need right now. People say you can never have too many good ones, but I happen to think we've got quite a few good ones already, and I want to keep building this team in the draft. If I draft another edge, then I'm going to be replacing, say, James Houston, maybe. He might fall out the rotation. Whereas if I draft a defensive tackle, I'm filling a gap. I'm filling a need because we need one. I'm not replacing anybody. I'm making the overall level of the team better. And as I say, Tyree Wilson, for me, I've looked. I've watched the tape. He ain't quick enough around the edge to make a difference at this level. He's great on the inside, but he's going to be like I said, he's going to be a defensive tackle in a 3-4. I don't think we need that. I think we need someone a bit more on the interior than that. And then we've got the guys on the edge to come in and do the work. So, yeah, I'm not taking edge, and I don't feel comfortable really doing it. That's why it'd have to be Breezy because he's the interior guy. I do like Miles Murphy, but I want to keep adding to this. I don't want to push someone out the rotation who's already pretty good when I can fill holes.
Hey, look, we all have different styles, and that's what makes the show good. It's always important to have difference of opinion, and so I respect everybody's opinion for sure because that's the way it is. We don't want to be the same. Being the same is lame. We don't want to do that. So I absolutely appreciate it. I love seeing different thought processes. And like when you're saying with Bijan Robinson, I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people would. A lot of people upset with it, but I get it. I 100% get it, and I think that would make this offense elite. We're competing with the San Francisco 49ers. If you look what they got, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, like it would compete with them, and that's good there. And if you don't want to go to edge, I do understand. We do have the edge room is strong. It is strong. It's 100% strong. James Houston coming into his own, doing his thing. So totally get it. Folks, if you got questions, right now is the time to shine. It's the mailbag segment. You can ask myself, Ant-Man, anything you wanna ask. Whatever you got, let us know in the comments below. Hashtag to get it done. Also, smash that like button if you have not done that already. Smashing that like button is always a good thing. Does anyone here not want Bijan at 18? I don't mind taking him. It would not upset me to take him. I'm not saying like banging my hand on the table to get it, but has not upset me at all. I would understand.
No,
He would want
I'm the
to
same.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I am not a running back in round one guy. I don't really believe in that there, but I also realise that there are exceptions to the rule. I always talk about exceptions to the rule, and when you're drafting, you always have to look at the exceptions. Everyone thought Malcolm was going to be a bust because of his height. Just got to take one look at him as a player in college to know he was going to be successful at the NFL. You've got to have exceptions. And with Bijan, in the situation we're in now, it makes sense to go high on him. Are you telling me that the Seahawks make the playoffs this year without Kenneth Walker? They invested high in the draft. People go, oh, you can hit day 3 on running backs. And yeah, you can occasionally. But, Breece Hall, was going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year before he got injured. Kenneth Walker took the Seahawks to the playoffs. And yes, everyone will go, well, Isaac Pacheco, but 17 running backs got taken on day 3 of the last draft. 3 of them have contributed this year. So you're giving yourself a 1 in 6 chance maybe of landing on a guy back there. So it doesn't always work. And in Bijan's case, as I say, he's special. He's durable. He doesn't get injured. He runs the ball. He can do it 20, 30 times a game, no problem. What he gives you to your offense, he gives you time of possession on the clock because he keeps you on the field. He makes special plays. He can do special plays without help of the offensive line. It makes sense. And you have to keep your mind open to that. It might be the only time in my life I ever go after a running back in round 1, but because I felt for the time, it's what we need. And you've got to keep your mind open to this sort of stuff.
What do we do with Jackson and Reynolds if we draft him at running back? I'm pretty sure I think Reynolds is still here with a contract. He signed a future contract. Justin Jackson, I do believe, is a free agent. Do believe so. Maybe we signed him to a quick contract. I'm not 100% sure on there. But you got Jamaal Williams, who's a free agent. You got DeAndre Swift, the future with him. We're not 100% sure. So there's some question marks there at running back. Not big question marks, but little question marks.
Well, currently in 12 months, we've no running backs rostered for 2024, which it would be. So
there you go.
You've kind of got to start making plans. Now, if Swift doesn't work next year, if Williams' production goes down, if the rotational guys don't do it, you'll enter 2024 needing an entire new running back room. And yeah, you can go out and get them, whatever, but I'd rather start planning for it now. And I'd just get the competition really high because, he's going to force people to get better. Keep them off the field. That's what you want.
Casey says, to me, would you be fine if Holmes just selecting the best player available in each current draft spot and made a conservative free agent signing? Look, that's the way I go. I go BPA. That is my draft philosophy. Best player available. If it's a position, even though we have like an edge, I just want to get the talent on the team. I totally get it if people want to draft for need and they want to go specific players. That's just the way that I go. I would like them to be conservative in free agency, except for getting one guy. I really want them to get Daron Payne. I want them to make one signing that will help this defense out. I want this defense to get a veteran in there because it needs a veteran presence. I need a player that is a changer, not just a guy. I'd like to get a changer in there. I think he would be an option. It's going to cost a lot, but it's going to change the defense a lot. I'm ready to compete for the NFC North and beyond. Like, it is time to take that next step for the Detroit Lions. But I'm generally not about signing high-end free agents. So I'm not trying to be Jacksonville where they're signing everybody to these giant contracts. I'd like to get one guy and then kind of make the waters a little bit easy from there. How sick next year with healthy Swift, Jamaal, and Robinson? It would be ridiculous. It would be the greatest show on turf. Move over, Rams. Okay, move over. It would be nuts. I mean, having a run game like that, considering the fact that you have good weapons on wide receiver, they work in tandem, and your offense is just consistently going play action is nuts. Jamaal Williams, or Jamison Williams play action with Bijan as your running back. Good God.
Exactly.
Good God.
You've got to finish it off. And there were just times this year where, I love Swift and that and Jamaal, but I don't think they have the special playmaking ability that Bijan gives you. So he kind of finishes the running back room and gets your offense going. So, yeah, I just think it makes a lot of sense for us specifically this year. Like I say, you may never have this good an offensive line again. So pair it with the best guy you can get your hands on.
Brian Brzee, I like him. I know a lot of people are down on him. You got to understand, his sister died this year. His 15-year-old probably screwed him up, had a little bit of dinged up. Last year he played really well. I'm still pretty high on him. He's my DT too. Mozzie, middle, third round, the Michigan defensive lineman. I was looking at it. I was like, should the Lions look at him? That could be like a third round option. What do you think about Mozzie there and Breezy?
I think Breezy I would. I've given him a lot of tap, especially last year because of the injuries and that, and I think he has suitably answered those questions. And as you say, he's had personal issues this season, but he's still very damn good. So I'd have him there. Mozzie, I'm always more critical of Michigan players because I know the bias is going to be there. And Michigan State players, I know the bias is going to be there. So I always do a lot more, and I scrutinize them a lot more. And for me, like you said, he's probably a round 3 guy. For me, defensive tackle needs to be a big need. I want to invest. I want to either invest in it big in free agency, or I want to go early in the draft at it. And if I can't do that, I don't really want to do it otherwise because I've hopefully got Bugs back. I've hopefully got Jones back. I don't think that I'm going to get an upgrade on those guys in the third round of a draft, which is what I'm looking for. So I'd rather, I'd rather a big investment be made in that position otherwise. But he's a good player. I'm not going to lie about that. It's my own personal preference. I wouldn't wait that long for an DT.
Is it possible Malcolm Rodriguez becomes a strong safety? No. I do not believe that is possible.
I hate positional moving around and stuff like that. It's like when people go, we'll take a tackle and move into guard. I'm just like, stop it. Just get a guard. It is just a personal preference of mine. I hate switching guys around. I think Malcolm's done perfectly well at linebacker, and I think he's going to get a career there. You've seen the size doesn't matter with him. He makes plenty of plays. He is going to have a good future there in a good linebacker room. So, no, I wouldn't move him. You can go and get yourself a strong safety in this draft. If you really think you need a strong safety, then go get one. Don't move Malcolm around for the sake of it. Look what they did with Iffy. They've screwed Iffy's career up by trying to move his position, and they need to move him back. And I don't want to see it. I just get me specialists for positions.
Before I get back to your questions, 2 things really quick. We're not getting Tom Brady. Okay, Tom Brady's not coming to the Detroit Lions. Why the hell would you want to sign a 500-year-old quarterback? I've seen that. And I want to hear your thoughts on trading for Jalen Ramsey. I've seen that in Pride in Detroit, and it says we should do it. I disagree. I think we should not do it. He cost a ton. Would you rather Would you rather give up a first-round pick, get Jalen Ramsey, and pay him nearly $20 million a year, or give up nothing, sign Daron Payne for less than that? And he's 25 years old.
So for me, what this comes down to, I just want to say Jalen Ramsey is a fantastic football player. He is one of the best corners in the business. He has been, and he may continue to be. But the trouble is, for me, I'm still scarred from the Patricia years where he's won a Super Bowl and he's got his bag. And I question whether he would have 100% commitment to this franchise in its pursuit to go for another Super Bowl. I think the way this team has been built, I would like to have players here who've not won a Super Bowl yet, who have not gotten deep in the postseason, the ones who are young and hungry and have a point to prove because it fits in lockstep with our team. I've seen too many guys come here who've won Super Bowls, who've reached the pinnacle of their careers, and then have just coasted and have got money offers and caused us problems for years. Now, I'm not going to say Ramsey's going to do that, but give me the guy who has more to prove at this point in his career, because I don't think he does. And if the Lions suck next year and we're not doing well, I just wouldn't expect him to take the lead in there and push it forward and really galvanize it up. Like I say, with Daron Payne, he's not been to a Super Bowl. He's not been deep into the postseason. His hunger to reach the pinnacle of the game will be as strong as every guy's on this team. And I would like that more. I've just been burned too many times by the vet coming here for money. And now I'm not suggesting Holmes would do that, but...
Dat fan man, Jalen Ramsey's hit next year is $25 million. That's his contract next year. Daron Payne's looking to get about $19.7 million per spot track. So you're talking about $8 million less. Daron Payne's 25 years old. Jalen Ramsey's 29 years old. One is coming into his prime. The other one is starting to go in the opposite direction. $25 million is a lot of money for a cornerback who's not in his prime. Like, it's the opposite. So I don't want to give up draft picks for that. I don't want to give up a second-round pick for that. I don't.
I just don't think it fits with the way this team's been built. I just don't. And again, I think he is an incredibly good player, but I want guys who have a point to prove, who haven't reached the pinnacle of the game yet and are going to be just as hungry as our young players to get to a Super Bowl and win it. And like you said, the cap hit doesn't help. I just don't think it doesn't strike me as the type of player that this build is done around. So again, it's nothing against the player. I would just prefer to go elsewhere for it, me personally.
It's a ton of money. Just a ton of money. And invested into one player that we seen last year. He didn't play his best. And let's be honest here. He had Aaron Donald, too. It does help out your secondary a little bit. But I think he is a good player. I just don't want to trade for him. He can go to another team. When a player's making $25 million and your quarterback is making $33 million, that's too damn close to me. That's just too damn close. That's incorrect. 17. I'm looking at Spot Track right now. Spot Trap. Cap hit $25.2 million. Cap percentage of 11.18. Right now. I'm looking at Spot Track right now for Jalen Ramsey. Base salary is $17 million. Cap hit is $25.2 million. You got his salary correct, but his cap hit's $25.2 million. And a dead cap hit, which that's where you cut when it happened, that's astronomically high, but it wouldn't matter. That's $32.1 million. So it's a lot of money. A lot of money invested into one player.
It is. Remember when we went out and got Justin Coleman? You know, we spent a lot of money on him as well at the time. And I know he's nothing compared to Jalen Ramsey, but the way the team's built, we've been very fiscally responsible. We've tried to keep the contracts sensible. We've not done anything that's threatened the build in the long term. And a contract like that, if it comes in and it doesn't work out or whatever, or gets Marty and wants to move on, then it costs you money. I think there's a way we're building this team, and it just doesn't sit well with me that we'd spend this much. It'll be first round pick, like you say, and a lot of money. So
and then
I would just rather go
2024 cap hit is $26.7 million, a base salary $14.5. So it goes down a little bit. Then the cap hit's only 11, but then he's 30 years old. So I'm not wanting to do it. That's too much. It's too much if you ask me. It's too much. But let me see. Roar Lions UK. Sorry, no question there. What about Witherspoon and Dextick? Well, what about Witherspoon? I'm not 100% sure on the other one. Cornerback Witherspoon. A lot of people have him coming up in the draft. Out of nowhere, he went from like QB or CB, not QB, CB to number 1 in this last mock draft.
I went rightfully. I picked on him at the end of the start of this college season. I zeroed in on him very quickly. He's a man coverage guy, and probably, for me, the best one in the draft. It's what Detroit needs because they play heavy man coverage, and we need a guy who can specifically do it. So again, I love the corner class. Christian Gonzalez. I know people love Joey Porter Jr. I love me Penn State defenders. I really do. I'm just specifically looking scheme-wise and who I best think fits this team. And I honestly think he does. Out of all of them, I think he is the best schematic fit and who you will get the best value from. So there's no surprise to me that he's risen up the ranks. Man coverage is, very highly desired as a corner. There's too many corners who are not really good at it at the moment in the NFL. So when these guys come out, you saw the same with Gardner last year. Everyone went crazy over him. He got picked really high, and he's justified that pick in one season. So, guys like that in that vein are the value's gonna rise. But again, even if he was cornerback 6 in this draft, I'd still be picking him in front of the others because I think he fits us best. And I think that's what Brad Holmes does. Someone mentioned about him doing best player available earlier. I do not think Brad Holmes is a best player available player because all the players that come to this franchise have a mindset. They have something in here, the work ethic, the way they go about themselves, the high ceilings they potentially have on there. I think he looks very specifically at players, and I don't think they're always BPA. So I think they're very, very considered. And even if he feels like he's reaching a bit, I think he'll still get them. So I just think he fits us best.
You could redo his contract, but then you're just kicking the can down the road again. That's just funny because you're just going to kick the can down the road, and then at some point you got to do Jonah Jackson's contract, then a Amon-Ra first downs contract. You got to look down the road of what's going to happen in the next couple of years, and then Aiden Hutchinson after that, Penei Sewell, that's eventually what's going to happen. And then you still got Jared Goff. Would you re-sign Jared Goff? That will be a question that will happen too a year down the road. So, still, if he was 25, okay. But each year you feel like he's going to go on the downturn. He's on the opposite side of the hill. He's not Jalen Ramsey that he used to be. He's going to be, he's still good. He's still really good. But it's be a little bit less each time. I hope we take a quarterback later in the draft as a backup for sure. A lot of good quarterbacks as a backup. Somebody said, why do they keep having us taking a tight end in the draft? I don't know where it's at. I seen it. To whoever put that in there, I have no idea why they're doing a tight end. I don't know. Maybe because they're used to us taking tight ends in the draft. I do not think we're taking a Michael Mayer. I do not think we're taking a tight end in the draft. Jake Moody with a third rounder? No way. I ain't taking no kicker in the third round.
I'm taking no kicker full stop this season. I was a Moody fan, but he's missed too many this year.
What are the odds of Greedy Williams winning Rookie of the Year?
He's not a rookie, is he?
The Greedy Williams that, I think he was 3 years ago, he got drafted, was the Cleveland Browns?
I thought Greedy's a corner. Greedy's a corner, isn't he? First round pick, was he?
Yeah, I think second round. I think he went in the second round. Paul Geider said that. Yeah, I don't know why, Paul. I don't know. If the Lions, would you rather first round cornerback Okudah, or would you rather have Jalen Randall? Hashtag Lions. Would you rather have a first round cornerback and Okudah, or would you first round cornerback? Yeah, I would rather have a first round quarterback and Okudah than Jalen Ramsey. There's no doubt. I'd rather do that. This draft is the number one position is cornerback. The depth is insane high. I did 50 prospects in the last video I did. I could have did 15 of those just on the corner position. I stopped after round 2 and round 10. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd rather have the first round cornerback and Okudah, but simply because we are going to be gutting out that corner room this offseason. There is probably only going to be Jerry and Jeff left next season out of the cornerback room. So we've got to start again effectively at the position. We need, if you're asking me would I rather have Ramsey, no, because I want to get young at the position again and start developing the guys of the future. Specifically one who, again, I've been on about him a lot, will schematically fit us perfectly. I want him in the team. I want him developing to ensure long-term stability at corner because we don't have it. And Ramsey's good, but he's short term. He ain't long term. So I'm taking the pick and taking my corner. And I'll give Okudah one last year to prove that he's worth a longer term deal here by letting him be a starter and see what he does. I think it works out best for everybody. I don't want to see Okudah ride the bench this year under depth. I want to see what he can do before we've got to make the decision about the money.
Ed has got a great question here. He says, is there a player Ben Johnson would pound the table for? I don't know Ben, but I think Deuce would pound it for Bijan Robinson. I think it's frustrated with DeAndre Swift. And I think if he got a Bijan Robinson, that would be a player would make this offense next level. What do you think? A Ben Johnson or Deuce, who would they pound the table for?
I think Ben Johnson would pound the table for Dalton Kincaid. I honestly do, because I know we've talked about not taking a tight end and that, but in terms of the tight end class that's coming out, I reckon he's better than Mayer, or he's going to be better than Mayer long term. But he is, because he does both facets of the game very well. He blocks really well, and he's such a dynamic offensive weapon. I think Ben Johnson likes those guys. He's been a tight ends coach himself. I think he'll want that guy in there to really... And this is nothing against... I keep Wright here. I keep Zylstra here. But Dalton Kincaid's just this sort of dynamic playmaker at a position that he likes. I think he'll see him, and I think he would pound the table for him.
Interesting question by John Kapler here. Hashtag Micromark. So I'm going to make... I seen this. This is an interesting one. Would you rather pay a bag of money... a 4-year, $19 million deal for Daron Payne, or Ndamukong Suh come back to Detroit for a 1-year deal, much less he has that vet experience to help show the young guys. Honestly, I don't think Suh would come back here. I think he went to the Eagles because he wanted to win a championship. He literally stayed out all the way to like couple weeks towards them guaranteeing a playoff spot. But in theory, I'd love for Suh to come back for a rotational defensive tackle. I'll still take Payne, though. What do you get? It's a tough one. It's a little tougher than I thought. What do you think?
As much as I love Suh, I think, we're the brand new Lions now. I think we like remembering guys like Suh and that because they're rare bright sparks on this future. Like everyone with Golden Tate, let's bring him back. We remember the bright spots on there, but for me, you've got to build for the future now. Like I said, with DT, yes, you would get some good experience in there, but I mean, I know they're going to learn off him, but Aleem's going to be a third-year guy and is developing really nicely right now. And then Benito and Bugs are vets themselves at this moment in time. So I would rather stick a high-caliber guy in there to finish the room who's going to be here for many years to come. Yeah. And
I love
like
Suh,
I say,
though.
on that, I know.
I know. We all do.
I love him to bits, but for me, if Levi was still in there playing right often, if we take another DT this year in the draft early, we got 3 really young guys in there. I'd put him in a heartbeat because I think we need that veteran leader in there to help guide them and that. But I think Aleem's had leaders in there with him. He's had Brockers in there with him. He's had Nick Williams in there with him. Scrubs who aren't worthy of the uniform, and I think he's developed in spite of them, and I don't think he needs... I think he's going in exactly the right direction he wants to, so I don't think we need the veteran leader in there. So give me the high-level guy who's going to be here for years to come. I'd pay him a bag to do so.
I'm with you 100%. I think everybody has a Suh nostalgia. Like, we all remember him as a dominant-ass player here in Detroit. It sucks, man. I love Suh a lot, even though there's always a little bit of drama off-season, but the guy worked so hard. I'd love to just see him just one day in a uniform. Just give me one day. I miss that. I miss hearing the crowd here chant Suh. Suh! And me going nuts. I'd never forget when he took Jake Delhomme in preseason and smashed that dude on the ground. That was the first time we seen Suh, and I said, oh my God, we got a bulldog.
See, that's the dream in hoping that Jalen Carter still knock him around in the draft, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
I just get vibes. I don't know, he's not going to be Suh. No one's going to be Suh, but yeah, that would just be special if you get him. If we drafted Jalen Carter and brought Suh back for a year, I mean, I'd be wetting myself all summer. I'd be like, oh my good God, I'm going to have Sue, Carter, McNeil. It'd be clapping cheeks.
Jalen Carter is the number one all day. Man, that's no doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. Clapping cheeks.
I'll take Carter and Sue over Payne as together as a
pair.
Yeah,
yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, I'll take Jalen Carter over Deron Payne. I think he's gonna be special, man. I think this dude is gonna be a freak on a leash, and I just hope he doesn't go to Chicago. I'm praying, because I don't want to deal with this dude for the next 5 years or 10 years if he goes there. But we had a great conversation. I really appreciate it. Ant-Man, tell the folks about your channel, why they need to subscribe.
So, yeah, you can find us at Roar of the Lions UK. We are a group of guys from over the Atlantic in Britain who like to chat Detroit Lions. So if you want a different view on how we view the game, come check us out. We go live on Mondays, we go live on Wednesdays, sometime on Thursdays. So, yeah, give us a go.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Make sure everybody hangs out and have a good time. And see you all next week. Good to go. I do not have therapy anywhere near the time, so we'd be good to go. So, yeah, we'll have fun and get back to Detroit Lions talk, getting closer to free agency. With that said, folks, adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.